On January 4th, 2020, a special group of 100 Earthlings will be chosen to leave the Milky Way galaxy and embark on an interdimensional trip with DJ Femi, Tria Plus, with hip-hop artist Shad Ali, and Starship Mantis, featuring a special collaboration and adult beverages from Dancing Gnome. This is an event you don't want to miss. January 4th, 2020, at Black Forge Coffee House in McKees Rocks. Find tickets on Eventbrite by searching New Year, New Galaxy. Only 100 tickets available. Make sure to lock in your trip before tickets sell out. Prepare for launch.
T-minus 3, 2, 1.
All right. Welcome to the 238th drink. And we're going to, all right, welcome to the 238th episode of the Drinking Partners Podcast. Yes, this is our Kurt Schilling episode because, well, no one else wore the jersey number 38, and we ain't got shit else going on the rest of the year, so it's appropriate. But he was a really good pitcher. We're a really good podcast, so keep up with what we're doing. Keep up with, what we'll be putting out there. We'll still be putting out the one singular thing that we all know us for at least, and that's the podcast, right? That's going to come out every week. But we are not going to be doing any other shows this year because, damn it, we got families and I got to meet my kids. We got shit to do. I am half of your hosting tandem, Ed Bailey. I'm joined as always with my co-host, Dave Bracey. Say what up to the people.
What's good with you people? We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play, and Spotify under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. 237 episodes, man. We've been asking y'all 5 years now. We've been asking y'all, and we will continue to ask you, man. Please hop on iTunes, hop on Facebook, rate and review. That's how we know we're doing well. That's how we let others know that we're doing well. And that's how we continue to do well, man. So please hop on iTunes, hop on Facebook, rate and review.
Listen, you love us. You see us out in public and you tell us that you love us. Now, at the click of a button, please tell the internet, please tell the world, tell everybody. Tell them all to listen to Drinking Partners. And as always, all right, I've said it 237 plus times. I'll say it for the 238th-ish time. In lieu of rates and reviews, we do accept shots of Hennessy, all right? Shout out to Car Guy DJ, a.k.a. James Logbo and the Conways for starting the trend. Shout out to everybody who's kept the trend going. Shout out to everybody who came out to any epic night of comedy this year, either at Arcade Comedy Theater or at Comtra Theater, man. We appreciate you all. We appreciate the support. We're definitely seeing a lot of repeat customers, people asking for certain phrases and shit like that. They want to see certain things. So it's humbling, man, and we definitely appreciate it because this is what our third year down there?
Yeah. Going on 4 out there, man. 5 years in the studio.
We spend too much time.
Yeah, it's wild, man. We coming up on 250. It's a lot, man. So we appreciate all of y'all for supporting us throughout the years, and we do appreciate those reviews. I mean, first and foremost, shout out to everybody that keeps the trend going with the shots, the bottles, or the
definitely
whatever. But those reviews, they actually be helping. I mean, you got one queued up?
Yeah, I got one queued up here, and it could be as simple as this, right? So we're not asking for you to write a dissertation. Just let us know how you feel. So, title, Dope Podcast, ! By Rock Gunner. Don't understand what that means, but
man,
a great listen! ! That's it. Let us know if you like us. Let us know if you love us. If you want to get more in depth, let people know what episode you liked, what you liked about it. But shout out to Rock Gunner for that review. I'm not even gonna make fun of your name.
I mean, he took time.
Your name is a run-on sentence, and we don't know if that's a guy. We can't say Rock Gunner's a dude.
Yes, it could. Listen. So the new year is coming up, though. If you're listening to this, it's probably the new year. We don't know. It's still the last decade here, but by the time you hear us, it should be a new year. It should be a new galaxy, and that's the name of the event coming up over there at Black Forge. I don't know if y'all remember Black Forge or not. They've been doing great community shit now over there in Allentown for quite some time. Now they're over in McKees Rocks in their second location, and they're kicking off this event January 4th. And man, the lineup is DJ Femi, Trio, and Shad Ali. Shout out to Shad Ali. I mean, DJ
Black
Femi.
Yeah,
Starship Mantis. I mean, you got a nice little
mix
alumni.
Mix of talent there.
Yeah,
and also DP alum. Yes.
Yeah, some DP alum over there. I mean, we got a collab beer with Dancing Gnome. With Dancing Gnome. That's going to be something fucking
Galaxy
ridiculous.
hops. Kind of has to.
I feel like that. Like it's a new Galaxy. If you ain't got no Galaxy hops in there, I mean,
See, there we go. We got to stop giving up the money moves.
Look, man, every episode is something new that's coming out of here, man.
And we need these rates and reviews and people to buy these tickets so we can move to upper middle class.
These new terms, you know what I mean? Just drop the new term. You know what I mean? Every time you hear a new word, just like tweet that shit at us. But this event is it only has 100 tickets because I mean that's how many is available. So you got to get them or you don't. And you can check Epicast social media. So that's all Epicast Network across the board. I mean, epicastnetwork.com. Hit them up.
All right, guys. So we only have a few tickets left for this show. It is this Saturday. It's at Black Forge in McKees Rocks. It's a beautiful new venue. They have a killer PA system, and we're actually recording the entire set. Dancing Gnomes bringing a ton of awesome beer. We actually brewed a 4% cream ale for this show. You can secure tickets by going to eventbrite.com and searching New Year, New Galaxy. Tickets are only $15, and all of that goes directly to the bands. So find a costume, and hopefully we'll see you there.
Yo, get this.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Man, this Weyerbacher man is crazy. It's early with this
that 24th anniversary. Shout out to Weyerbacher, man. I actually had the opportunity to make the trek out to Eastern PA to stop at Weyerbacher. It was a return to the roots of sorts. This was my first like craft beer that I was conscious of it being craft.
Full circle,
back in the little booth area where we used to podcast.
Movies in the closet.
He was in the closet, man. I'm gonna pause that because no. But no, man, I had to. So wifey family live out in Easton, and it's like nothing else to do. So I went down to Weyerbacher and got some of this 24. It is an Imperial Mexican style lager. So I grabbed that because I don't know what that is, what it meant, but it's really good. Limey, citrusy type, lager. It's light, but it's 9%, so it's light on the feel, but not on the feeling.
Yeah, man, it's like a heavy Corona. Like you got that limey, heavy ass man, British with the limeys.
That's what they did. They made the Corona with the lime already in the bottle, so you ain't got to turn it over at the bar.
Yeah, one-stop shop. You know? I mean, if you could probably throw that glass in there, try to get one of them get the salted rims on that motherfucker.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
definitely.
If you want to be
sugar
fancy
around the rim.
You want to be fancy with that motherfucker. I'm not a sugar rim type dude. You know what I mean? Like I'm just.
Because you're out the closet now.
Yeah, we in the open with it. You know what I mean? But if that's your thing, if you like a little sweetness, then go ahead and get that. And this is a perfect beer for it. I don't know if they're going to be making too many of these because it's the 20. Wait, hold up. Now I'm fucked up because it says 23rd.
24th. So I know they had a 23rd, and then they had I think this is the 24th anniversary beer that they made.
But 24.
They had a 23rd as well.
But how is
24th? It's all twisted, bro.
Yeah, that's how you be pronouncing it after one of these.
I didn't really,
give me some of that 24d.
You know what? I didn't ask him why.
Nah.
I'm not. That's what our guest. That's what our guest does. That's a perfect. That is a perfect.
The fine print.
It's the fine print. The ask why is why we have this guest on the podcast. We have owner and attorney of JD Law, so she's a businesswoman and attorney. Jennifer Dickquist in the building. Say what up to the people.
Hey.
Yeah, you're here. Well, we like that. What's up to the people? We do need to know legally, are we within bounds with our last conversation of closet in, closet out? Are we going to get sued?
No, you guys are
good. We're good. All right, we're good.
Word.
For today, anyway.
She's gonna send a letter. Listen. This next is gonna cost you.
He'll send us a cease and desist. You have to pull this episode off of iTunes. It sucks. So tell us about your journey into law. Like, how did that happen?
So I always wanted to be an attorney. I really did.
You just like arguing with motherfuckers?
Yeah, mostly my dad. I mean, I love that man, but come on, we argued all the time.
What does he do?
Argues.
Ooh, he
Oh, that sounds like it ain't legal. She was like, hold on.
Oh, she got into it to defend Pops. We gonna keep you out, Pops.
Love you, Dad. So he does a whole sorts of things. He does have a full-time job.
Okay.
He sells like extended warranties to car dealerships, but he also has a rental company. He has a car dealership, car repair.
Wait, your Pops send me a lot of mail. I get the flyers with the extended warranties. Like, yo, you're almost past that 36,000. Like, how you know?
I feel like I owe him money somehow and don't even know it.
How you
think
get
I
my
owe him
address?
I definitely owe him money somehow.
Yeah, well, you went through law school.
Right.
So,
He told me he paid my retainer for all legal fees when I was like 3. So
I explained to my daughter this weekend, I've hired you. Yeah, you work for me now. That's what happens.
I don't understand these parents that are not getting free child labor. You know what I mean? And that child labor extends until, like, you know what I mean, one of y'all cap out. Like, that's just how that works. You know what I mean?
you got till 21. Exploit the free labor.
Well, no, 26 now though, because they on the
Health
medical?
insurance, you keep
Yeah.
paying that.
Yeah.
So you always wanted to be an attorney.
Yes. So I grew up in upstate New York, north of Syracuse, basically almost to Canada.
Okay.
Moved down here, went to law school at Duquesne, and worked for some small firms. And then
Well, how was that? Was it holy? Was it a holy experience over at Duquesne? Was it like mad, like rosary beads and shit? Like, I don't know.
Actually, not really. I went to some amazing.
You ain't never fuck with
No.
no.
No, I went to some amazing parties
Yeah.
during that time
Let's
period.
get it smacking.
Yeah.
See,
That one dorm,
It gave you
that one dorm by the football field right there. Yeah, that's Roethlisberger used to be up in that joint.
well, of course he did, because the
damn.
girls stay the same age.
God damn.
right.
With the McConaughey. with the back to McConaughey. So you came out with the law, like, so, you know, Duquesne, and then how'd you get from Duquesne to law?
So graduated law school in 13, started working at some small firms doing family law, criminal law, and then in 17 decided I was going to do it on my own. Didn't want to have a boss anymore, wanted to do it by myself. And I took what I noticed, which was most people from, that make $25,000, $30,000 up to like $75,000, $80,000. These firms would take, some people literally all their life savings as a retainer and then wouldn't give them very much legal services. They might last like 3 months with the firm, maybe 6 months, and then they would be sending them a letter for a couple $1,000s more. And it didn't seem practical or fair. So I decided to take what I was learning and make it a flat fee system so that more people could afford legal services, more people could come to me and be like, I only need you for this day, for this time. What can we do?
I mean, that's like, it's crazy because it is expensive as fuck. Like, you'll put down $3,000 to $5,000 on a retainer or whatever, and then they'll just make a couple of phone calls and you blow through that shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's a quick as, couple of grand, and it's wild because I was just watching this documentary or whatever, and he was saying, it's the same way with diamonds. There's this effect where, like, the price point is what gives it that value. You know what I mean? Like, typically the higher you price something, the lower demand and everything else it is or whatever. But like something like a diamond doesn't have any inherent value. I mean, it's just until you place all of these other outside factors or whatever. When you place or wine, when you place that extremely high price tag on wine, people just assume that it's worth that. It could be the same fucking thing. I mean, a lot of whiskey does it. A lot of whiskey motherfuckers, it's the same whiskey. They put a different label on that bitch and they charge more, and people are going to buy it. They're going to pay more because of the value put on it. And lawyers are kind of in that same regard, where it's like, people, because you put this high price tag on it, people think you're going to be greater or, more this, any other. When in reality, like, it's because of the price tag that people think, and it's not the actual service. So
meanwhile, they're still answering your email from the bathroom. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like,
the quality of work doesn't
Right.
increase based on the
What's
amount
being
of money.
charged.
I mean, like, a car is a little different. A car, you can have the more money you put into it, there's better parts, better this and the other, whatever. Like, but with a service, like you said, you're answering emails from the toilet. Whether or you charging me $500 for that, or you charging me whatever.
And I just don't charge for that.
See
I don't,
that?
I don't charge for
It's the
emails.
same.
I don't charge for
Toilet
emails.
emails free.
But I fucks with that because I got hit with like a $675 fee for a phone call that the lawyer took, and I was like, nah, you could have just
You
let me
answered that
take
in
the
the
phone
car.
call.
Like,
But my understanding is the higher price point is not necessarily for extensive legal knowledge or I guess savvy, but it's the connections they have. At least on the criminal side, I think a lot of times these people who curry favor with certain courts in certain ways charge this exorbitant amount. And one, they do target certain types of offenders. On the criminal side, I would
Absolutely.
imagine, where you ain't gonna be able to go but so many places with this cash and pay a lawyer. Like they're gonna be like whatever. So they charge them a lot, and then basically it's like, all right, I'm going to plea you out. Like I'm not better at going to court and actually fighting the case. Like I don't even know how you can measure someone's proficiency with that.
You can't. First of all, I take all sorts of cash, so cash is good. Cash is
Cash
king.
rules everything around.
Right, don't matter. But I do plea cases out, but I also will fight a DA if, or an ADA if they aren't giving a good deal. I just got a 18-year-old. He ran from the police. He was drunk. He took him on a nice tour of McKees Port and Braddock, and before he finally stopped the car, took off running, got tased twice, and I got him 6 months of probation.
Shit.
So,
God damn.
I
need part like God. Which shit? Well, thank you for coming on board as the official lawyer of the Drinky Brothers podcast. Just in case we want to go on some joyride.
No.
Just try not to get
ain't
tased,
going
okay?
on shit.
God damn.
I don't want to bail you guys out. No
And
offense.
I've exhausted my joyrides.
Yeah. So, like, I had a whole ass question, and then you talked about joyrides, and I was like, holy shit, that sounds like fun to mayhem.
Could be fun. Could
I
be
mean,
not.
So
Could get tased.
while you thinking of this, so what can a defendant do to assist in lenient, I guess, sentencing, right? So in a situation like that, what's the standard in that? Like if you run from the cops, you underage drinking, you like what's a standard sentence?
So first of all, there's a lot of factors that go into sentencing, which I don't think people quite understand. A lot of it's based on your prior record, what you've done in the past. It depends on, I'm going to be honest, how you act with the police. I mean, this kid took off. But once the police are out of it and it's the ADA, I mean, it's show up to court. Like basics number one, show up to court. Because I can't do anything if you're not there. Because then the bench warrant's getting stamped and, they're going to find you in a couple weeks and you're going to end up at ACJ. Dress nice. Stop showing up to court in sweatpants and a hoodie. Like, look like you care about the situation because they will take you more seriously. And then, tell your attorney or tell the judge what you have going on in your life. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you run a business. Maybe, you just got out of rehab and these are charges from before. You could be doing really well now, and those factors could help in lowering your sentence. They're called mitigating factors. We use them all the time. But if you don't tell anyone they're there, we can't use them. So it's all about the information you're giving
credit.
us.
Yeah, get your credit up. You know what I mean?
It's literally a point system. I'm not going to lie. It's literally a point system.
Them cookies, like,
So how we get the file with the point, the ranking system?
Well, I can give it to you, but I'm not going to give it to everyone.
All right, cool.
Otherwise, I'm out of a job.
Yo, I'm about to have an 850 criminal credit score.
Absolutely.
This motherfucker pay taxes. He got kids. He volunteers.
He is the primary source of income for the family.
His slacks are always military creased.
He made his bed this morning. Like, check that.
Raise your court cred by 250 points by this proven method.
Why doesn't that exist?
Your car is registered and you have a license.
registered. I
Look
do
at
have
me
a
out here
license.
doing adult shit.
Well, what kills me is so many of my criminal clients, they'll like get high, they'll go steal like can I swear?
Yes. You can cuss.
Just
We don't
fucking A.
swear on
All
this
right,
podcast. We
listen.
curse.
So this motherfucker goes to a Sheetz to steal a Mountain Dew and a bag of Doritos. Okay,
He's
fine.
high.
You spend it right.
Yeah,
he's high.
that-
You
yeah.
spend.
Is that a mitigating
listen.
factor?
No,
I
no.
get that.
Yeah.
No, this is
can
what
you be like, listen, Your Honor, you know how you know.
You know how the munchies work.
You know,
You
Tone.
know
Tone
this.
got that loud.
Yeah,
You
like,
know he got that loud.
he got that
know.
medical grade shit,
I
and
mean,
like,
I ain't hurt nobody. Yeah, I mean, it was just a little couple, some
And
chips and some dew.
and it wasn't that got him. What got him was that he had no registration. He had somebody else's license plate smacked on his car, no license, and he freaking had a bag of heroin in his pocket. Like, my dude, don't commit extra crimes.
Yeah.
Don't commit.
Don't commit extra crimes. Like, just stick to the first one.
Eat it, throw it, get it. Like, I mean, you got to. Listen, man, you got to manage your crime, man. You can't be pounding. You got to crime right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
That's a lot of, I mean, like something like that, like
Don't
something
do the
on
extra
you.
shit.
That's 101, man. Swallow that shit, toss it.
Get
man,
yourself a white girl getaway driver. Like,
come on. I mean, no,
she's
I
not
heard
going to
that
get
from
pulled
a white
over.
girl. I heard it from a white girl.
She's not going to get pulled over.
Saying that, saying.
She said, listen,
I'm saying it.
farm these motherfuckers. The crops are plentiful.
There are plenty out there that will do it for beer. So get yourself a white girl.
Look, go to Carrick. Go to Carrick, find you a humble-looking white chick, and have her drive you around. But yeah, that's a big thing, though. I do think we and we're joking about it, but that's like if you're committing a crime, and I'm not endorsing any.
No, absolutely
crimes and
not.
felonies,
No.
Just the mindset of I'm carrying this on me, but I'm still going to do something so petty at this point, and that's typically what'll get you caught.
Absolutely. I also do dependency work for children in foster care, and a lot of the parents have addiction issues, which never fault someone for having an addiction issue, want to get them help. But a lot of times it's not their addiction that gets them arrested. It's some other crime. It's driving without a license. It's not turning on a signal. It's, sitting at a stop sign or passing out in their car. It's not necessarily the actual purchase of the illegal drug that got them caught.
I mean, it's poverty, and when you live in poverty, and like you shit piles up, and you're just more or less kind of like waiting for the next shoe to drop. Like like we're in this. The system is built to punish poverty. You know
Absolutely.
What I mean? So first and foremost, if I have an addiction and I can't afford treatment and I can't afford all that, then I'm just out here to the wolves. And then depending on the drug that I can get, typically the cheaper, the higher the crime is going to be. You know what I mean? So like, that crack that's in my system is a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, and like you said, I mean, like I said, like even to do with the heroin on one, if you got heroin on you, your shit is fucked up to the point where you smoke it. Like it's whatever you're doing with heroin, it's enough that you're there.
Absolutely. And you need help.
Yeah, I mean, you need help and you're just trying to get by on that or whatever. And then motherfuckers will piece some shit together. I've pieced motherfucking shit together back in the day. You know what I mean, like, look, I got to get from here to here, and motherfucking Johnny Law saying I can't, but I got a paycheck. I mean, I got to get in my next paycheck.
Exactly.
I'm going to do whatever I can to get to that. I mean, like, and, I feel like your services coming in here is more or less saying, okay, we all fuck up. Because rich people fuck up all the time. In fact,
everyone fucks
do
up.
They do it like out in the open, brazenly. You know what I mean? Because they can just throw money at it, and you're just kind of saying, "Hey, I could at least when you do fuck up, I could be a bit of that mitigating factor. Some of that, like
we could slow that train down so that you're not spiraling out of control, and it doesn't become, X, Y, and Z is piled up on you, and now you're kind of screwed.
So, like, what is that? What are those politics like behind like the scenes or whatever? I mean,
what's it like in the judges' chambers?
Yeah, like how does that? I mean, how does this like? Is there like what are the politics of lawyering?
So I always get clients that you go to court and they're all up in arms because you're being nice to the other counsel. First of all, we all know each other. So it doesn't matter whether we all went to law school together or we've met each other working. We all know each other.
Everybody plays in the same sandlot. If you're in the industry, everybody know everybody.
Exactly. So don't take it
personal. Y'all got
like
the lawyer bars and shit. I mean,
yeah.
You're down the lawyer's way.
Yeah, Mitchell's. Like everyone's drinking at Mitchell's later.
Yeah.
Like it's happening. So like, don't take it personal. We're not, just because we say hi, we're friendly. It doesn't mean that we're agreeing with them on your case or what's going to happen. But, it doesn't necessarily help to know the judges, but it definitely makes it go smoother when everyone's nice and everyone's getting along. They're more likely to listen to you if they know you and respect you, and more likely to believe what you're saying about your client. Especially like in the dependency realm, so much of it is terrible circumstances. Right. So it's trying to get the best case scenario in front of the judge. And they're more likely to believe that best case scenario if they know you and they respect the work you do and respect how you carry yourself.
But how much of it is like predetermined to an extent? Like it almost feels like there are factors outside of this, and I think like this crime, this singular crime, I commit a crime, and I have to go in front of a judge, and I can do, I can make sure I'm registered, I look nice, and whatever. But it almost feels like there's these extenuating or ancillary factors that are like outside of me, but could position my case in a different light if taken differently. How often does that play into sentencing and how people are treated? If someone's up for election or if the conviction, you know what I mean? Like shit like that. Because I was listening to that Serial podcast.
Yeah.
And they had done a season in Cleveland. And like it was interesting to me just listening to it. One, because I knew the buildings and whatnot, but just hearing how some of the sentencing of the two, there were two different, I guess, I forget what they're called, but two different whatever subjects.
Yeah.
But the way they were sentenced, it was almost like it wasn't because you did this crime, because this is how this crime is classified, and we have to take this position on that.
So some of it is determined by state law. There's mandatory minimums. There is, even if you've never committed a crime before, if you go out and kill someone tomorrow, I mean, it's a set amount of time if they prove you guilty. I mean, that's not something that we can really change. Maybe we can plea you down through mitigating circumstances, but you're going to do time. Same thing with, a lot of like armed robberies and things like that. Even in dependency, a lot of it is predetermined. I mean, if you're neglecting your kids and they go to school and, they find abuse on your children, I mean, we're taking your kids and putting them in foster care because it's predetermined. Not everything is predetermined, though. I mean, especially things like DUIs. There's so many other programs we can put you in to scoot you around the system and kind of keep you out of jail and away from doing time. Same thing with possession. I mean, we can, move you into these alternate programs to try to get other assistance rather than just put you in jail. I mean, no one wants to be at ACJ.
But with the DUIs, is it even like, it almost seems like the DUI system is just a money grab. Like, they'd rather you not go to jail, just go through all this shit and keep coming back, pay for these sessions or whatever, do all this other shit. Then, we got to take it another year and you got to pay more fines. It almost seems like with DUIs, they're not trying to lock you up. They just want to get the money out you. Okay. You don't have to say it. We ain't trying.
Maybe. I don't see any of that money, so just so you guys know.
Man.
But deal breaker is a deal breaker. We can argue with each other and do like some DP court.
Yeah, DP court. I like that.
What is while our guest breaks the seal? Yes, we will make fun of you when you come back. Weirdest legal situation you've been in that you're open to discussing?
Weirdest legal situation I'm open to discussing. Jaywalking. I was in college. It was late night, walking in. It was like summertime. So it was very few kids on campus or anything like that. I mean, it's like midnight, streets are barely empty. I mean, anything out there or whatever. And this cop is sitting at the other side of the intersection at the light. Me and my boy are crossing the street. There's this group of girls cross the street as well. We cross in between, and you be like, "Hey, what's good?" Yeah, I mean,
they
what y'all
like the way
doing?
You was hollering at they Emmett Tilled you. They like how you was hollering at the white Jones.
I'm like, "Yo, what's good?" Like, and he pulls over and he's like, "Get the fuck out of the street!" Like in my face or whatever. Like in the car, and I was like, "Yo, get the fuck out of my face!" And he pulls up, he stops. And hops out.
Oh, you didn't know it was a police car because of the headlights?
I knew it was a police car. I was young and angry.
Okay.
So and I'm just like, come on, bro. It's like in the middle of the
Young
night,
black
and you see me over here
American.
trying to get me, and you over here like. Anyway, so yeah, probably not the best move, but yeah, he hopped out and came through and gave me a ticket for fucking jaywalking, I lost both the shorties and like $150. So
damn, I got arrested. That's crazy. I got arrested for jaywalking once, but that was not the weirdest thing that's ever happened. I literally have been arrested. And I think I told this story on the podcast before for standing still in a club during the let out. I got arrested and detained and put in the back of a car and drugged to court several times.
Were you were you like I'm this is a sit-in, a stand-in?
No, I was waiting for my mans who was also hollering at chicks that I don't know if he bagged him or not. He didn't even offer me like a take the ugly one's number. Yeah, like he didn't even offer me that. I got arrested.
No
for this
scraps.
dude.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I got in a fight outside of Rum Shakers and I didn't get arrested.
That pisses me
See,
off.
we just told 2 stories of basically standing around and getting arrested, and she's like, "Yeah, I was doing wild shit, and whiteness happened." So
I got
tell
pulled-
us how often whiteness happens in court.
Oh, all the time.
Yes.
All the freaking time. I can't even lie. All the time.
Word.
Like,
That's a
there's
very
nothing else to
sobering
say
thought.
on it.
Yeah, like
all the time.
All the time. So then what
So,
is
what does
a
that look
way
like?
to combat that? What does that look like?
Yeah, what
and
does that
how do
look-
you combat that?
Well, first of all, you have to deal with people who aren't racist.
Mm.
You guys can gauge that for yourselves on whether that's possible in Pittsburgh or not.
We have a lot of friends.
the jury.
The jury's out on that one. It's just presenting yourself the right way, a lot of it. You know, coming into court, being polite and respectful. You don't have to yes, sir, no, sir to the judge, but just, you know, I was in dependency court a couple of weeks ago, and the dad in the case, first of all, he showed up. Great. You showed up, you're there, you're interested in your kids, but then you go, hey, bro, to the judge. Like, don't bro the judge. Like, come on. Not a good move. Like, he's not cool with you like that. Like, he's just not. You're there.
I think that's the thing. Just in general, I think that if you're in court, you should be aware that no one in that room is your friend. And I mean, like, I think people, people get to talking to cops and things like my first incidences with cops, like, were just, oh, you're supposed to be like on my side, so let me just tell you everything. You're not like, if you tell the cops everything, they're not looking to go, you know what? That doesn't sound like you committed a crime, so we're going to let you go. They're just trying to figure out what fucking crimes they're going to
what extra
put
crimes
the
you
extra crime
committed.
that is on there. And if you're in the courtroom, same thing. Like, there's no familiarity. There's no, like, and it's wild because it can be disarming at times. The way that
they
people
walk up,
speak
say
to
hi, like,
and all that, and like
good
try
to
to
see
put
you
people at
again.
ease and all that or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like, nah, man. Like, even some of the like social workers. It's wild, like, because, like, being a social worker, like, and that's why I had to step away from it, because there are often times where I had to do, like, it was like you had to choose what was in the best interest of the client or what was in the best interest of the nonprofit or organization or whatever the fuck.
Right.
And at times that's not in your best interest. So even that social worker, that person that's supposed to be there in your corner, isn't really there in your corner. So everybody there you should be treating in some kind of hostile, or at least
Arm's length. Keep them at arm's length.
length. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
And especially, with social work and the dependency system and the juvenile system, our goal, it's written in state law, is supposed to be that we're working to reunite families, to resolve the issues that they have, whether it's poverty or whether it's, a lot of addiction issues. We're working to solve that, but that doesn't always seem like the case, because when you get some of these little babies that are easily adopted out, it's hard to really, like, say the social worker is working to reunite the family versus adopting this child into a quote unquote better family. It depends on the family. I mean, you have to look at the circumstances. It's a lot of times we're more likely to reunite a teenager because no one's going to adopt a teenager. So we try to get a teenager back with their parents.
Yeah, I guess it'd be hard to adopt. Yeah, I can see where people don't adopt teenagers. You're already like a developed individual. That's a tougher, like, it's tougher to ingratiate you to how we do things here, because you already have developed your own way and your own views and things like that.
A lot of them have criminal records or mental health issues. And people don't want to take all that on. There are some great people out there that do.
Yeah.
But they're, I would say a pretty high percentage that don't want to deal with that.
And you've missed a lot of the cute times.
Yeah, you missed
A lot
the
of things-
toddling
yeah,
stage.
you missed a lot of that.
You missed them drawing and bringing home art for your fridge. Like, all that stuff is behind them now.
See, I think my issue, I guess, is with systems in general. Like, anytime there's a system in place, like if there's a system, so yeah, you can put this on the front page of the system, like, all right, we're trying to reunite with families, but there's a whole financial, political system behind that will dictate whether or not this is feasible or, if it makes the most financial or fiscal sense. With systems, like when you say when the gentleman comes into the court and he says, "Hey, bro," to the judge, no, you shouldn't do that. But then systemically, like, do we know if he's exposed to any other type of interaction, any type of way to communicate? Like, that shouldn't be a disqualifying factor for this young man. Like, he may grow up in an environment where that is a way to ingratiate you. Like, that's a way for me to, this is me humbling myself to you. Like, you're not my bro. You know what I mean? Like, you're probably a middle-aged white judge. I'm calling you bro because that's what I call my fam around me because I'm trying to be in with you. Like, you shouldn't look down on him for that. Like,
Absolutely.
where can we get the system to where you really look at the singular act and the factors that are within such, and there's not all of this outside noise? Like, how do we get closer to that? In your opinion, like, I know we won't have the answers here, but that's where we need to get.
Well, you don't know that. We might have the answers right here. I think
That's on that side of the table then.
I mean, so one thing I pride myself on is being a person who can find common ground and relate to almost anyone I've ever come in contact with. I may not know you or your background, and my background may be very different, but I could tell you guys a story about going to Rum Shakers that you might relate to, whereas I could tell somebody else a story about going to a basketball game that they might relate to, or, being into, Taylor Swift, that they relate to. So it's like, I try to find common ground and I never shy away from meeting someone no matter what their background is. And I think just meeting people that are different from you goes a long way. Because then when someone does say, "Hey, bro," you don't take it personal because you realize by knowing other people that is something they say to everyone. Where, if you just stay in your bubble, you're only going to know people from your bubble and you're always going to react with the same response.
Yeah, I mean,
And there's no excuse for it in Pittsburgh why people don't interact.
Experience, breeds compassion, and you don't have that without, so if you're in that bubble, you don't really know how to even, you see them as others more or less. You know what I mean?
I didn't grow up in the foster care system. I was lucky to have, two great parents who loved me very much, but I've had experience with family members who are addicts. So I can relate and say, listen, I understand what you're going through, maybe not personally, but I get it. And I see where you're coming from. And I see why it's a struggle and why you've gone to rehab 4 times and it's still not clicking. I can relate on other levels just because I didn't grow up poor or without my parents.
Do you find, I don't know, like younger judges or lawyers or, folks in that system to be a bit easier to work with, harder to work with, should there be, term limits or something like that on this? Because, the thing that I found in social work, at least on the side that, I was at, is that, you see case after case after case after case, and folks start to blend in and folks start to just kind of be numbers more or less. And you stop treating it with the same tact and care that individual cases need. And you start to just bulk that shit and go, well, this is a number 5 with a side of, disorder. So This is what, what has your experience been on that?
So even millennial attorneys, I guess I'm considered a millennial attorney as well.
Own it.
But, I feel like they're still more conservative than the general population. So you're still going to get those, a lot of them still have the same approach to things that their parents may have.
Well, because they have, I mean,
'Cause they grew up in that
come from
situation, right.
money, and typically the more well-to-do you are, the more attachment you have to your family. So you have more of an incentive to be, you know what I mean, whatever. Like it's
Right.
hard to be like mad liberal and shit when you're like when your check, like your rent is coming from your dad. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like you're like, fuck you, dad, but not
But also, can
that
you sign this line
phone bill?
right here?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like,
like so.
My phone's still on your phone, like,
You know what I mean?
which mine is not. But just as a clarification, but you know, term limits, I absolutely agree with. I mean, there's no reason we should be getting younger judges. Age does not equate to experience and understanding. Age just means you're older. I mean, it doesn't mean your legal brain is worth more than somebody else's.
Right.
You know, and there are some younger judges on the bench now, and you know, I like them. I get along with them. I think they're doing a great job. But we don't give younger people a chance as much because we don't think they're as seasoned or they know what they're doing. But really, once you're 7 to 10 years out of law school, everyone has the same knowledge.
And we got Google like a motherfucker. So,
Right.
You know
I mean,
what
we
it's like,
And why do you want someone with this antiquated mindset if times have changed? Like everything
Right.
has changed. So if they come from this generation, but we don't operate like that anymore, like why do we need them to be, you know, rendering sentences and things like that? Like,
Exactly. I mean, I know older attorneys that probably should have retired that don't know how to use their email. Like, right. I mean, love them. They're nice people, but they don't even know how to email. So it's like, should those people really be defending and standing up for people in a time that's completely different from what they know? I don't know. It's definitely a hard concept to really decide.
So one thing I'm interested in though is what is the journey to becoming a lawyer and attorney? Finding, you know, what is it? What is the group of attorneys? The firm, finding a firm and whatnot. Like what sort of personality assessments go into it or something like that? Like what is it that measures you as a candidate? And then how does that correlate with the real world application? Because like, I don't know, are you tested on knowledge of historical cases or how does that work?
Okay, so when you're in law school, you take 3 years of law school. None of it is how to be an attorney in the real world. It's all just learning old case law, learning how to do things. I mean, there are internships and stuff, but most of it is reading cases that are in a textbook.
Okay.
When you sit for the bar exam, it's a 2-day, 6-hour-a-day test. You sit and you basically regurgitate all the knowledge that you've learned over, I think Pennsylvania has like 20 subjects they test on, 20 different areas of law that they can ask a question on. So you just have to go in and just regurgitate as much information as you can about those topics. Then there's a set point value. If you're above it, you pass. If you're below it, you fail.
pass, fail.
It's very simple. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you pass by 1 point or 20 points. Everyone above it passed. Which is another
You
thing.
might have a motherfucking judge that's just sitting there, you know what I mean, old as fuck. First and foremost, he only got 1 point to make it. Now he 80, trying to talk about some, you know what I mean, trying to figure out what the fuck I'm in here for. You know what I
Right.
mean? And now he mad because I called him bro.
Right.
I mean-
And we don't even know what type of person this dude is that
Not
passed.
at
That's what
all.
I'm trying to figure out. Like,
It's not based on personality or anything. It's literally like there's no in-person interview. It's based on how you respond and can give facts related to questions on a test. I mean, there is public shaming involved though, because how you find out your results, you go to a website and it says your name.
yeah.
And anybody, I could give you the website. You guys could look up the results for February's exam in April and see everyone.
And people don't.
score.
It doesn't show your score. It just shows your name. But still, I mean, to
it's
not be on that
passed,
website means you failed. So that's like straight shame.
And
That was enough to make
that's
me
gonna hit
pass.
That's gonna hit social media too. Like, dude's gonna be starting to blast y'all. Like, where's Dave's name on this? 7 years taking the
I
bar.
thought he was lawyering, and 4 years later, he's still not on this website.
Where you at, bruh?
Keep dropping the bar. Like,
Has
But
there Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, but after that, it's just like finding any other job. You apply, tell them what you know, tell them what you're interested in, see if they like your personality, like your intelligence. And I would say I'm not the conventional attorney, but most people, you know, find a job in a traditional firm like that and go from there.
So then at what point, though, does your views of law, how does that factor into this journey as an attorney? Because part of it could be like people are like a lot of the status quo is making it through law school and passing the bar. So you're just going to continue to see the status quo in law. So there's no resurgence or no influx of new ideas, new spirit, new blood. It's just all the old shit over and
Yeah,
over.
it's learning the old ways.
There's no barrier to entry in that way.
Exactly. And that's why I didn't necessarily last too long at my old firm. I had a different way of doing things. I had different compassion for people, different ways of looking at the legal system, and it wasn't appreciated by the older guard. And so it resulted in me doing my own thing.
Okay.
I'm also just a different type of attorney and a different person. And, you know, a lot of people really appreciate it. I have clients all the time that are like, you seem really down to earth. You seem really like a real person and not some like crazy scholar that's just stuck in a book. And I'm like, I've had multiple people be like, you're so cool. And I'm like, no, I'm just a normal person. I just, you know, pride
Pass the
myself
bar.
more on interacting with people than, you know, just trying to show you how smart I am.
You was on your name was on the website. That's how smart you are.
Right.
You
Exactly.
you just pull up the link. Like, no, I'm right here. We good. So
I got the piece of paper in my office. Day saw it.
Like, yeah,
There's a lot of paper on that
a
wall.
lot of motherfucking paper.
A lot of
yeah,
overpriced
it's like,
paper.
God damn. Like, it's what, yeah, no, it's a very, like, and even the office or whatever, folks walk by and it's like you're intimidated by all the, you know what I mean, all the trees and shit.
I got Princess Leia up there, though. I mean,
It's even more intimidating.
It
You know
should
what I
say
mean?
law
You talking
on
about-
it.
that's-
I'm not
that's-
fucking with it.
That's law and lightsabers is basically what you, you know what I mean? That's what your wall says,
Well, and
law
that's
and
what I-
lightsabers.
and that's why I try to be more personal because I don't want people to feel like that. I don't want people to feel like it says law or it says Esquire behind my name, so you can't talk to me.
Right.
Like I try to give people the respect they deserve and relate to them. And you know, I've had a 13-year-old with a ankle bracelet on tell me to fuck off, and I'm still
13-year-olds
like,
don't give a fuck.
dude, like I'm here for you. Don't tell me to fuck off. Tell me what you need.
yeah.
He needs you to fuck off.
Right. He needed me to fuck off. He was the one on house arrest. I mean, so it's like, I had another girl. She's 14 and she keeps getting in fights in school. And I'm like, how am I going to get this girl? She's going to start getting arrested for it. Like, how am I going to get this girl to stop getting in fights? So I told her, listen, you get in one more fight and I'm going to come to school and I'm going to walk around behind you acting like the most annoying white girl you've ever met. I'm going to be like, oh my God, like, this is so totally awesome. Let's do this. And she was like, you wouldn't. And I was like, watch me. I will. Hasn't been in a fight since, so I haven't been able to test this, but I'm there for when she does.
So what is it like being, you know what I mean, like, you know, I don't know. I guess what are some of the challenges being in this field? Because it, again, like most fields, it's weird, but they're very male dominated. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, what are some of the unique challenges like that you've, you know, had to face, you know, going through that or whatever? And what are some of those pitfalls or whatever that other women may see that like maybe they can, you know, kind of bypass coming into it? Because, you know, it is harder, you know, as, you know, people of color and women or whatever in these places where the more success you find yourself, the more male and white the shoulders, you know, and the people that you're surrounding yourself with become. And dependent upon, you know, again, the profession, there are various, you know, hurdles therein. So,
Well, when I first got my law degree and started practicing, pretty much every 60-year-old man and older would ask me if I was old enough to be an attorney. Now, I did get my law degree when I was really young. I passed the bar when I was 23, but like, you know, I still was there as an attorney. I mean, it doesn't matter. I passed that bar. Like, you shouldn't be asking my age. You shouldn't be asking if I'm old enough. Now I get Are
I
you
passed the bar, so like that's it, motherfucker.
Right, that's
don't
it.
matter.
Don't
Don't matter about shit. We on the same bar. Like,
And so now my favorite is I get people who ask me if I'm the defendant because I'm covered in tattoos and I have piercings, and they're like, "Are you the defendant?" And I'm like, "No, I'm the lawyer for the defendant." Like, don't ask me if I'm the defendant.
eat a
I'm
dick.
the one in the right. It's like, fuck you,
Fuck
dude.
off.
Like, yeah, it's the 13-year-old saying fuck off on the inside. Like, I don't say fuck off to everyone else mostly, but it's like, don't ask me if I'm the defendant when I'm sitting in at the lawyer's table. Like, I'm clearly not the defendant.
Do you wear your piercings to court?
My septum ring I push up, but everything else I leave in.
Your septum ring you push up.
Yeah, like
You can like flip it up.
Yeah, you
can
flip
it up.
them up.
I mean, it just gotta be.
Oh, you ever so this happens to be on stage because sometimes I'll be on stage and my nose start running. I'm like, does your septum ring ever flip down while you like giving
I've
the
had
closing
it.
argument?
I've been sick and blown my nose in court and it's come out.
Man.
And I don't think anyone really notices, but I immediately push it back up just to like try to keep the peace. And so no one questions me about it. But I have had some creepy clients be like, "Can I see all your tattoos?" And I'm like, "No, no, you can't."
No, that's typical. That's about second level game for dudes. Like, let me see your tattoos. You've already lost your virginity, but you don't have
Right,
your
but you're
own
not.
place.
You don't have a line
That's
or
like,
anything.
yeah, that's
like-
game
got your own-
101.
yeah,
That's like 13th grade.
and we're
game.
in like
Yeah.
a professional setting
That's
still,
right.
so it's like.
That's right along the lines of offering a back rub.
That's the yawning stretch.
Right.
That's right. Those are
Like
all in the
between,
same food
like-
group.
And the last time someone did it, I didn't even have as many. Now I'm up to like 30.
Let me see every tattoo you have.
Right. Do you have an hour? And I'll pull out my phone and show you all my pictures. Like, I'm not going to show you.
That's smart. Now, being a lawyer,
Yes.
how is that on the social scene? Like, how do people respond to you socially?
Yeah.
Because there is a stigma to lawyer. Like, I feel like if I'm trying to date you, I feel like you're judging me to a certain extent.
I don't tell anyone
Okay.
that I'm an attorney until
Until when?
way later.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, if I had when I saw you guys at Arcade, if I wasn't wanting to work with you guys, I never would have come up and said, "Hey, I'm an attorney." I would have said, "Hey, good show. Like, see, you want to grab a beer?" Like, I never would have been like,
That
"Hey,
would
I'm
have
an
been easier.
attorney."
If you'd have done that, you could have sold us on anything.
Well,
Beer.
true.
Well, we are the
Where am I
Green
following you?
Well, we're going to do that. We're going to take that.
But for the most part, I probably, when I go out and meet people, they would never know.
And that's
And like, if you look at my social media, I have like hidden social media that you would never know based on it that I'm an attorney.
that sucks, man.
Well, I guess you gotta change that because now you're an attorney, you want clients and shit. So
Well, I have a professional.
Oh, you
one
got the
as well.
whole. So
Yeah,
you got the whole.
I do the double Instagram
Oh, I got you.
Double
You got-
That
you
aren't-
got-
that aren't linked.
Oh, I had two phones.
that aren't linked. I have two phones as well.
Two phones on me.
My dad's like, "Are you dealing drugs?" And I'm like, "Not yet."
But
Those student loans got to get paid though.
So how do you? And I'm sorry, I'm asking a bunch of questions.
No,
I
it's
never get
okay.
to ask lawyers questions. So, like, all right, you get a client, and this client is either obviously guilty or has admitted guilt to you.
He better not.
At this, okay, so they don't.
I don't want to know.
Okay, so at this point, when you've resolved in your head, like, all right, this person's
Like,
either
we
guilty
better
or the
plea, 'cause-
likelihood is. So then how does the strategy change at that point? Is it to try to reduce the charges in the sense of like, all right, they're charging you with aggravated assault. How can we get it to whatever the lesser assault is,
Yeah.
which I don't understand. Like, what's the process with that?
So I had a guy who full out admitted to me that he got pulled over with his friend. He had a bunch of coke in a pill bottle. Fully admits it right from the get-go.
Where he should have said there was a bunch of coke and a pill powder in the area.
Right. Well, he didn't even tell the cop that. He just told me that.
Oh.
But it was in the car,
Should've
so they
never said
charged both people. And he also fled from the police. I don't know what is with people fleeing, like stop fleeing. That's an extra charge every time.
Yeah. And you
But
look guilty.
he tells me that it was, they were sharing it on the way back from work. Okay, whatever. I don't care if you're doing cocaine. That's your problem. So I just said to him, listen, we got to plea this out because you already said I can't have you go on the stand and say it wasn't yours when you've already told me it was. Perjury. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get you to plead to a lower count of possession and get rid of the fleeing charge. So he ended up he had time served for the 4 days he was in jail, and then he got a year of probation, and he had to take a drug class. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Anything that keeps you out of jail, in my book, is a happy day.
Yeah.
But he didn't get his coke back.
Hell no.
See, I got pulled over.
I got to sign off on that they're going to destroy it.
The cop took weed from me once, long time ago. And,
Oh, not yesterday?
no, then they gave me the bag back without the weed in it.
Fuckers.
Ooh,
That's insult to injury.
Was it a Ziploc?
No,
Or was
I had
it
just
He was
copped.
like, this is a quality bag.
If
Like,
it's
I
a
don't
Ziploc,
wanna...
I can see.
This is
yeah,
a
I mean,
reusable
if
bag,
It's a reusable bag, but if it was just
I just copped a little quarter off my man's.
You had
and they
the
pulled me
lighter
over.
burned end on it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like if it was just the pull and like
Pull and burn.
But here's what's funny. It goes back to what you were saying earlier about the extra crimes on top of whatever. Because here I am, right? I'm in my mother's car because I done visited home from college. I'm in my mother's car. My license is expired.
Of course
I
it
get
is.
pulled over late. I just bought some weed off somebody. I'm high. They trying to get me to say who I bought it off. Talking about, we just saw you cop it from somebody at the gas station. I'm like, I ain't even speak to nobody at the gas station. And then it's just like, I can't say nothing about them taking my weed because one, weed is illegal, and two, I don't have a driver's license. So I'm just like, fuck. They basically could just. It's like 2 or 3 in the morning too. These motherfuckers could just do what they want with me out there.
Yeah, no
I'm
one's gonna
just
see
out
it.
in the streets.
Yep.
Don't nobody know where I am. I done borrowed my mother's car.
yeah.
Borrowed, but like, I'm a good son. Like I used to borrow it without knowing, but I'll fill it up.
Right, so she didn't know.
So
that's back to the
You
shit
gotta
didn't
put
know.
you fill it up. And I did you a favor. That's why your car ain't parked the way it was before.
Right, that's why it's crooked in the lawn.
Yeah, I took it to the gas station for you straight.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 3 a.m. gas station run. I needed Cheetos and
Mamas know what time it is.
Yeah, well, I know.
She knew
She
I
was
didn't-
wide awake.
She knew I didn't sleep at home a lot. She knew like
Maybe clean out the cup holder and shit. You know what I mean?
Dude,
You know,
right.
a little tidiness.
Oh, the
yeah,
cops
I
did that.
mean,
They cleaned out the cup.
They took the change, the weed, the blunts, the lighter. They didn't want to stop at the gas
all my
station.
shit and left. They took all my shit and left. I'm like, you motherfucker. That was loud too. I was mad.
They ain't even throw it out. It's like, I just want you to know that's mine now.
Meanwhile, I was parked in the hill with my lights off at like 3 a.m. I was gently escorted out of the car, not searched. My car wasn't searched, and they were like, "Okay, we'll let you go."
Whew,
ahead.
man.
I'm telling you,
Man.
white girl getaway driver, best bet,
Man.
hands down.
It is wild to see a cop pull over a white girl. It is. I've been in the passenger seat. The whole interaction is
It is
completely
so
fucking
different.
different. Like it's just, oh hey, how's it going? Saw that you were breaking the law. Crazy, right?
I've been asked
I
in
don't
South
even know.
Oakland
Hey,
if I was lost.
I just wanted to know, do you have a license? It's cool if not, but if you do,
I'll still let you go.
wouldn't mind seeing it. Oh, you do? Okay, hold on.
Oh, your
This
car's
won't take
registered?
long.
Fine.
This won't take long. Hold on, I'll be right back. They'll go to the car, come back like 10 seconds later. Hey, you know what?
We good.
Everything checked out. Hey, you have a good
Drive
you need an
safe.
escort? Because I can make sure I can clear out some of it.
Is this guy in your
All
passenger
right.
seat bothering you?
Yeah. Blink
Yo,
twice.
you do look menacing with the beard.
Oh,
and
now that I got the
smelly-
Muslim
Yeah,
thing
you-
The
going,
beard.
the beard right
Yeah.
now. Oh, listen, motherfuckers react to me way different with the beard versus low cut. You know what I mean? Summertime, motherfuckers be like, oh, he's a friend. You know what I mean? I'm a gateway black. Like, I'm like, approachable and friendly and shit.
Now you're
And
like
then,
maybe homeless. Not sure.
I look like, I might got bombs in my shoes or some shit like that. That's what they're assuming. You know what I mean? Like, it's wild. But if you're a white girl, it don't matter what the fuck, man.
Nope.
The motherfuckers is just, like, man,
That
God.
shit bothers me, yo.
It bothers me.
It bothers a lot of
me, man.
motherfuckers. It
As it
kills a
should.
lot of fucking people. You know what
Yeah,
I
it
mean?
does.
Like it's like, and it's wild because like I didn't realize I was being treated differently until I was with white people in a car, and they looked at me and was like, yo, does that happen all the time? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, wow. And then on the passenger side, seeing it, they're like, oh, so that's how that shit works? Like,
So I've never been in a car with a white person that was pulled over. So I've never seen it. I've only seen the same type of
You wanna go for a
police
ride?
interaction. No.
No joyriding again?
Nah, because the thing is, it's
It's
the
dangerous for
extra
you.
shit you got to think about. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
be pulled over as a passenger in a white girl's car. I've been pulled over as a passenger in a black girl's car that had weed, and then they were trying to pin the weed on me. I'm like, I'm not on nothing. I didn't get pulled over, drive. I'm just in the car.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't know what
yeah.
she had when I got in the
Like,
car.
yeah, I'm gonna need you to step out and see your ID. Like, why? They didn't say nothing to do with me.
like, I'm
You're like, I'm literally face forward doing
Everything
nothing.
I'm doing is legal as fuck. I'm sitting
Yeah,
here.
just pull over has nothing to do with. I was not even awake when she made this bad turn. Like, what the fuck? Like, this shit crazy.
I'll tell you a wild story about one of he came to me as a court-appointed dependency client. Now, this motherfucker looked like Charles Manson in his 20s.
Don't know what that is.
Char-
No, I know who Charles Manson
no,
is. I just don't know what
like
he looked like.
stringy, greasy hair, like those beady fucking creepy eyes.
But Charles Manson was a looker. Wasn't he like
In the 20s?
You know what I mean, I don't know. I just like
no,
wasn't that his?
still creepy as hell.
I thought which
motherfuckers
which
be
one
on
was
alert
which one
for a
was the
creepy
looker?
looking
What was
motherfucker. I thought it'd be them
the
city slicker
serial
looking
killer
dudes
I
that
thought that was
you
Charles
getting their
Manson.
shit off. Like, who was the one? He's got the Netflix.
Was
Ted Bundy was
Ted
the
Yeah,
Bundy
he
was
was
the
the-
smooth.
yeah, that's
Okay,
what I
I'm
was about to
thinking
say.
Bundy.
That's the one.
Okay, Manson.
Yeah, he was smooth.
Oh, the crazy
And
motherfucker with the.
the-
Okay,
he
yeah,
had the
boy,
call-
Like,
he had the
like,
call-
looked like
yeah.
he like fought squirrels and shit.
He had the call and they killed Sharon Tate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
So this kid looked just like him, and he was like maybe 25. He's in jail, ACJ, waiting on a strangulation charge.
Damn.
And I had him for dependency court. So one of the things when I meet clients who are in jail is I'm not going to vouch for you to have visits with your kids in jail if you committed your crime in front of your kids. So I go in the cell. First of all, the cops left me alone with him. He's cuffed in the front. I'm like, can we get that switched like immediately because he has DV charges? But so I sit down with him. I'm like, listen, dude, let's talk about this strangulation charge. What happened? He's like, well, my baby mama was smoking crack. Okay. And I really didn't want her to smoke crack. Fair. Like, I'm with you, dude. Don't want her to smoke crack. So I strangled her. And I was like,
That turned
what?
left. That went left.
And-
Right course of action.
That was
Right?
just,
I'm like,
man,
I'm
it
thinking
was-
hospital, police.
You went from
like,
0 to 100.
they're- And he leans forward and he goes, bitches can't smoke crack if they're dead. And I was like, what? And I was like, knocking on the door. Can I get out of here? Like, please let me out.
there's no need to represent
Like,
him.
I need to get out of here now. And
Yeah.
walked out. He got 9 months.
That's because America doesn't give a fuck about women. I don't know if anybody has known, or the world.
Touche.
I don't know if many parts of the world do care about women.
No.
But yeah, it's hard to get a motherfucker to, like it says, this is stat, and I'm gonna keep saying this stat until other people actually catch on. Less than 1% of rapists see jail time. The vast majority are not reported, and of those that are reported, it's like somewhere around like 5% that actually go to jail. You know, a lot of them are probation, a lot of them are let off, time. So, like, I mean, there's all kind of wild
Oh,
shit
yeah,
there.
there's tons of crazy stuff.
But for that, so like, and kind of trying to tie those two together. So now he gets 9 months. Did they plead to a lesser, like, because I don't know what strangulation constitutes as far as legal, what
It's
what is
actually a
legally
sep-
written as strangulation, and then
It actually is
what
a
the sentence
separate
would be.
charge, which is really interesting. It's literally a strangulation charge. And it falls under the domestic violence statutes.
right.
But, he probably had a very low prior record score. If he had been arrested before, it was for smaller things that were unrelated to domestic violence. And he sat in jail for 6 months before he actually pled to it. So then he only served like
Time
2 more
served,
months
yeah.
and he was out. And, he looked at me dead in the eye and was like, I strangled her because she smoked crack. That was
Now,
it.
did
That's
they
all it
use
took
that
for
as,
him.
like, could a good lawyer use that as a mitigating circumstance if they have children together? I'm trying to get to like how twisted and convoluted law can be. Like,
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
it's all up to interpretation. Like if I'm a real, because I think if I'm thinking about what a really good lawyer is, I feel like I could come to the day and say, look, fam, I strangled my BM. I was mad that she was smoking crack. We got these kids together, and they can go into court
I
and
would-
make me out to be the victim.
I went.
Yo, crack. That
he-
shit is whack.
He said to me, just what I told you guys, looked me dead in the eye and said it. I walked in the next room and asked for visits with his kid because that's what he wanted. And I'm his attorney. And he didn't strangle his baby mama in front of his kids. He never laid a hand on his kids. So I walked in the next room and said, Your Honor, I'd like jail visits for my client with his child.
They
Do
make
I
it so
think
that
he
your
sh-
kids can't come visit you?
If you commit domestic violence in front of your child on a
if you do it
regular
in front of the
basis,
kids, all right.
like they will limit your contact with your child.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wild place to be because, you know, like when you see so many different cases, life becomes just a bunch of gray with very, very thin borders of black and white. And then, you know, like progress or, you know, what is, like you said, when you're talking about reuniting families, man, like, you know, I had a dude that, like raped a dog and, you know, like he was a client and, you know, they were both heroin addicts. And he was a dog raper, and he beat the mom or whatever. So like he's a heroin addict, dog raper, wife beater. You know what I mean? And like I'm got to figure out
Three
how
strikes?
I have to
What
figure
services are you going to give him to get his kids
I
back?
got to figure out how to get these motherfuckers back on track. You know what I mean? Like, and so you know when you're talking about these situations,
dogs.
well, yeah.
You're
so
prevented from having
here's
animals.
the thing,
can't
man.
get that
of
license.
all the shit, like I mean, the charge I was probably most likely to stick was the
dog.
dog,
The dog.
part. Yeah,
Well,
I mean, motherfucker-
you have
'cause-
to have like concrete evidence for that, right? Because the dog can't testify.
Well, I mean, you know, there's
Trust me, if they charged him, somebody knows something.
you could test shit, and there's a I mean, like there's all this, whatever. But like,
Are you
I
telling
say-
me they tested for DNA?
I don't know, man. All I know is
They
the
got a
motherfucker
rape
was.
kit for dogs.
Listen,
I mean, it's probably the same.
Was it a
Same
male or
kit.
female dog?
I don't see. Again,
Was it
I
a
just-
Pomeranian or a Great Dane?
It was more of one of those like golden shaggy motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So he shagged.
So
the
he made the
shaggy.
dog give him head.
Yeah, he shagged. I don't know about the head.
Their teeth are
Cause see
vicious.
that vicious. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they.
Yeah, but
the hair just
yeah, but they don't know to. They don't know to keep their.
the hair sprinkling on his balls.
So the
They don't know to
shaggy
keep their
shag.
lips back. Like,
You know what I mean?
And the dog who shagged me. Yeah.
But yeah, no, you sometimes be in situations where you like, like if I get this motherfucker to smoke like maybe one less crack rock a week, that's a win.
Hey,
You know what
that's
I
5
mean?
more
Well,
months
that's
in
always a
groceries.
win.
Yeah.
That is a win.
So it's like, yeah, I know that you did something terrible, but my job is to see the good in and how to get you back to the good, as opposed to first and foremost, we need to figure out how you got here. And then we got to figure out how you're going to get back to good. But we can't just be caught up in what you are now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, 'cause if you get caught up in what you are now, then then that's just who you are. And we might as well just part ways.
So, yeah, that sounds good. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Where is the line drawn, though? I have a line of I'm not, getting you back to good. I don't know,
So-
man. Like
so I
women
do-
beating, I feel like you got to sit down. You got to sit
Personally,
down.
I feel that.
Yeah, like
But-
I'm not about to be sitting here talking about we about to give you resources to figure out why you beat women. You got to sit down, fam.
So here's what I got. I do a lot of termination of parental rights where I represent the parents. And if you have I've had a McKees Rocks stripper who just can't get out of her own way and continues to do drugs, and she loves her kids. I don't doubt in my mind that she loves her kids. Can she take care of them? Absolutely not. And it broke my heart to terminate her rights on her child because she truly cares about them. She would bring them presents when we went to court. She loved them, but she couldn't stop doing drugs and, making bad decisions in her life to get her kids back. I fought for her very hard and tried to get her to a place. I told her, like, you could text me anytime. I will put you in a rehab. I'll do whatever I need to do for you. You tell me what you need. And she just didn't want to. She wasn't in a place that she could. I will fight till the end for people like that. But you come to me and I have a person who threw boiling water on their 7-year-old. You do that and yeah, I still do my job, but it's really hard to look at you and be like, yeah, you should have your kids. And I don't feel nearly as guilty at the end of the day.
Are there alternative setups though to like get them
So
visitation of sorts?
yes, so there are systems, your favorite thing, systems in place to, they're private agreements basically that you make between the adoptive parents and the biological parents to allow the biological parents to see their kids in the future. But it's hard for me to even say, yeah, you should see your child that had to have skin grafts because of you. I mean, you know, it's definitely not for sissies what I do. It's a hard world.
Yeah, man. Very much so.
I mean, I also had a lady, though, that told the court that she failed her drug test because her Tinder date put cocaine on her anal beads. So that...
You got to take that for face value.
Right.
I mean,
if you are willing to say
calling
that...
that's calling in with diarrhea. It's like, I only say this shit if it actually is happening.
If you are willing to look me in the face and say that, I'm believing you. I don't care what happened. I don't care if you snorted a whole 8-ball.
Yeah.
Like, if you can look at me and be like, my Tinder date put cocaine on my anal beads.
I would be the judge, be like, all right, well, we're rolling with that one. So
that is our defense here, and we're sticking to it.
You done taught me something new.
Can we bring those anal beads out?
Oh, we need to get
It's in a baggie. This is evidence number 1.
Submit to the
I
court.
mean,
So how many beads can you take at once?
And how many have cocaine on them?
Doesn't matter.
So what is your favorite form of potato?
French fries.
What kind?
Crinkle.
Really? You
Who
like
the
crinkle
fuck
cut?
likes crinkle cut?
No,
Really,
we just
bitch?
had the
Me,
conversation.
bitch.
Crinkle cut?
You gonna argue with me?
Wow.
Yes, we will.
That is
Fine.
We just argued on
And
our
waffle.
last cast, maybe one of our last two, how crinkle cut are the worst.
I mean, they're just
No, if they're done right and they're crispy,
So what is it done right? How
like they have to be crispy and not super soggy.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
definitely
It's
can't be
hard.
soggy.
It's Pittsburgh has shit ton of soggy places that serve
But
French
they're
fries.
hollow as shit.
They are hard. They're like
No,
crunchy on the
it's done right.
outside and
There's no fry on the inside.
yeah, it's just a shell of a
also
potato.
really enjoy
How the fuck do they
waffle
make that
fries.
happen? How do they get it so crispy on the outside and nothing on the inside?
You double fry them.
Oh, you dip it and then dip it again. When I dip, you dip, we dip.
Yes, into the
I
burning
put my-
hot oil of fries.
Crinkle cut.
Uh,
Okay. I mean, well, I guess.
I mean, you guys still like me. It doesn't matter what my fry
yeah,
preference is.
I mean, that's just that is probably the first that's the first
you ask
crinkle cut.
everyone?
I don't even like this question.
I mean, yeah,
This
but
motherfucker-
Okay,
it's
do you have
a-
another
it-
question for me?
No, that was the question because
I, need you
mean
to
that is
represent me. I
a
got caught up in a little thing. I was coming out of the mall and the thing went off. Now I paid for the socks.
I just keep walking.
I paid.
Like straight keep walking.
yeah.
Nah, I've
See.
never been into shoplifting. I think theft is kind of whack too.
See, I think theft is whack if you're stealing off of people, but
I
if
had
you're
a
stealing
run in
from
8th
Walmart,
grade.
man,
Yeah.
take
Fuck
as
that. They
much
make
as you
enough
can.
money.
Get your pockets
every
worth,
once
man.
in a-
If it's in a mall, if it has a,
We're gonna
if it-
take this out, but every
if it-
once in a while, like I'm
Ooh.
taking something for free.
you know what I'm saying?
Like you make enough
The
money.
rewards program. You said it's a, you know what I mean? You get you spend much time in that motherfucker. Maybe you deserve a free pair of motherfucking
See, I don't trust-
Here,
car.
self checkout. Like
don't-
I'm taking something. Like
I don't trust thefty motherfuckers, man. Them shit be missing from your house.
No, see
Oh,
now,
hell no.
Once
I would
you
never
in it,
steal.
you in it.
No,
I would
This
never-
is different
If
now.
you-
See,
if you
now
thefty, you
there's
thefty.
no. There's house
No.
thieves and those motherfuckers you can't fuck with. But like the professional thief, those are the. Yeah, I mean, you should like
Listen.
Frank Ocean. Like I mean, yeah, well, not Frank. What's the Ocean's 11? What's the fucking
Oh, okay.
thing?
me
Yeah,
stealing
yeah,
one
okay.
Like
shirt.
that motherfucker, the dude from
Frank
Ocean.
Ocean, like,
Yeah, nah.
wait a minute.
The
Yeah.
dude from Ocean's 11.
Frank
them motherfuckers
Ocean is not.
He's
He's not up in that.
I was like, But
He's
yeah, I mean,
working at the pyramid.
yeah, like the motherfuckers that's like stealing motherfuckers from like, I mean, casinos and shit ain't coming to your house and stealing your little motherfucking trinkets or whatever
Listen.
the fuck.
If
You
you
see
steal
what I'm
from a
saying?
casino, that's kind of
Listen,
cool.
I'm never
That's not
You see what I'm
stealing.
saying? Yeah,
That's not theft.
But neither
That's a
is
production.
If I
neither
steal a
is
shirt from I'm not coming to your house and taking your shirt.
exactly.
I promise
it's
you.
it's a completely different. Like motherfuckers will now if you
Would
like.
this face lie?
Yes.
Yes.
You're a lawyer.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, those are two different kind of thieves,
They're all-
man.
they're all-
I
those
mean,
are two
like,
different
you
kind
know,
of
I would never ever harm a friend like
a
that.
human. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if it has a face on it, I can't fuck
No,
it. I mean, I'm not
absolutely
doing it. I
not.
mean, Walmart doesn't
and
have a
I've
face.
had my house broken into, so I know how it feels.
yeah,
Like
bruh, yeah, I mean, like,
You know, their
everybody's
employees are
had
rated
something
on
stolen
loss
from
and all
them.
that shit. So, like, all that does factor into humans, like, work and all that.
Like, listen, man, I
Well,
used
darn.
to
I'm just saying, you know.
Kool-Aid packets.
I'm sorry, I
Listen,
steal that one Swiffer mop. Like it's fine.
Kool-Aid was a motherfucker. I used to drink.
Swiffers
good.
are expensive for
They are.
what they
Oh,
are.
I have one last question, and we're going to ask them.
We're gonna take all that
Ask-
out about me
ask you.
stealing.
You're not stealing from We're just fucking around. He's probably just going to take his name out. But one last question before we
Yes,
have you give them
absolutely.
your social media. Why is receiving stolen property a crime? Like, if somebody stole
Because-
some shit and sold it for cheap, why can't I buy it?
Well, first of all, you have to know it's stolen. Like they don't fault pawn shops if they get something that's stolen.
Okay.
But if they could prove that you knew it was stolen and you still bought it, like someone who goes and takes an iPad and then sells it to someone, like you
But
know
I
your
can't just
friend
say I
who's
didn't
selling the
know.
20 iPads did not buy 20 iPads.
How do I
Like,
know?
I mean, really?
But that's how, I mean, really is not, that's not a statute of law. There's no I mean really in law. How do I know? How do I know that Day stole these 20 iPads? What if he hit on a scratch off?
So that depends on your lawyer.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
That's why you need a lawyer. That's why you don't
I'm
go
trying to
in.
be a lawyer, man. I be arguing my ass off.
I'd take you on.
There you go. Okay, I would love to. We're gonna. Well, we got another podcast to do, but we're gonna think of something to argue, and we're gonna argue this shit. We're gonna.
I just want
As long
like,
as you don't ask me to play Scrabble, I get pissed during Scrabble.
I've never played Scrabble.
What-
competitively?
when looking at a lawyer, what is a thing that someone should ask? I mean, like, you know, it's a wide world
Let
of
me see
lawyers.
your tattoos.
I mean,
There you go.
yeah.
You gotta
If-
say it like UGK. Let me see your tattoos.
I would ask them to tell them here's my requirements for people. Let me see your tattoos. Who's your favorite music artist? And when's the last time you went out drinking till 3 a.m?
So I should ask my lawyer these three things.
Yeah,
So
And
you definitely agree with humanizing your lawyer.
absolutely.
Do people ask like what was the last case you lost and why?
Yeah.
Is that something that
and
people ask?
like, what are your odds? I can't tell you. I'm not in the mind of the judge.
How
like,
guilty are you? Can you respond with that?
but did you do it?
but did,
Let's go down drastically if you've done it.
I mean, are you paying me in cash? Chances are you did it.
You did it.
You did it.
You did it.
I mean, I did have a guy who used to slip cash under my door in an envelope to pay me. And I'm like, yeah, you're a drug dealer. You told me you're an entrepreneur, but you're definitely a drug dealer.
Wow,
Like-
I'm
It
an
could
entrepreneur.
it could be the same.
It's definitely.
I believe they are one and the same.
he didn't
Yes.
lie.
I don't know if there's any drug dealers that are
He
not
had-
entrepreneurs.
There are most of the drug dealers are not entrepreneurs.
Really?
But there are,
No,
yes.
but the fancy
not?
ones, the
They're
fucking
contractors.
no,
No, okay.
Most of them
They
don't know
are-
the word entrepreneur.
No,
but
they are called. Like, listen, they are not on a payroll. It's their own product that they're. I mean, it's up to them to.
But it's
to
not
sell
their
and come
product.
back.
It's
It
not.
is.
Well, it depends
Unless
on how
it goes
low
to
on the chain they
consignment,
are.
unless it's
Most
consignment.
drug
And
dealers, it's not their
even
product.
with consignment, half of that shit is yours. You know
I
what
mean, we got
Like,
taught that.
That's
They're not into the supply chain. The people who own the shit. is
Jadakiss
giving
told
it
us
to-
about
If you're giving it to
consignment.
you on consignment, I'm giving you the shit with the feeling or the agreement that
But
you're going to give
it
me
depends
that
on
back
it depends on the
sale.
deal that you're setting up. All I need to do is sell half of that. The other half should be mine if it's really consignment. So,
But
I
just
mean, that's
owning
still-
something doesn't make you an entrepreneur.
And I could at any time say,
There's a profit type of. You,
what is
I
that
don't
No,
know,
because
man.
it's about furthering your business, expanding your territory. Like, you can't just be like,
But how many entrepreneurs never explain? I mean, people get mom and pop shops are entrepreneurs and they don't expand. They just be sitting in the
That's not
same
true.
ass
That's
brick and
not true.
mortar,
See, that you're
same
looking at,
corner.
You're looking
you know
at
what I mean?
territory
Like
as
they
far
don't
as their
expand that
physical
shit.
location. It's about the
How many
clients
people
that
are they
address.
reaching?
So through their
There's a-
community,
there
if
are-
you're selling to
through
the
community
same 30
contacts.
motherfuckers and
Right.
half of them don't pay, you're not an entrepreneur.
Very true. Very
Right.
true. And if and I'm telling you, most drug dealers are low level drug dealers. They are not entrepreneurs.
No.
I
if you
feel
go
like
into
even a low
Dubai
level, like a
and you're
low
paying your
level drug
lawyer in
dealer
cash.
does not have. It's not like
He's
it's
not
not
an
like
entrepreneur.
you're given. It's not like they're gonna be like, all right, listen, man, every 2 weeks we're gonna give you this check and we're gonna get like however much
Bro,
you
he got
sell,
an
you sell.
employer.
You got.
He got an employer.
He's a
That
bitch.
consignment, somebody's coming.
He's somebody's
coming to
bitch. Like,
follow
let's
up with
be
that.
real.
Somebody coming to follow up with that. You got to go see somebody.
Yeah,
There's
if
an
you
office.
don't, no, you're an entrepreneur when you don't check in with anybody.
Yeah. Most of these drug dealers,
They're checking
motherfuckers
in.
walking around high schools that's drug dealers. They ain't entrepreneurs yet.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that does suck.
I-
Consignment
You
would
know, we
suck.
just persuaded you way into that.
No, you did. I mean, you got me on the consignment part. I was trying to argue consignment, and as it is a weird, but I've never been a consignment
I
type
mean,
dude. So that's
Jadakiss
but I
taught us
guess,
all the lessons on consignment.
But it is
Listen, if my
because you
lawyer
are
is
in like
listening
because
to
you got to
Jadakiss.
you got to go back to a
Right?
motherfucker at
If
some
my
point.
lawyer is listening to Jadakiss, I
But you
feel
can,
confident.
you
Right?
can. So I guess consignment, no, but you can buy out of that, and once you are off consignment, then you would be an entrepreneur.
If you are going to find a
if you're going to
source
expand
to
your
the product.
network,
If you are not
Say you're
indebted
like-
to anyone, so you have your product and you are not
Right,
indebted
say
to
you're
anyone.
third
Where are you
tier.
getting your product from?
You're getting your product from a supply chain.
yeah, I mean, technically, I get my product
From a
Right.
There's
Ah,
a
but
system
where
that you
on
get.
the, where
that
on the supply
produces-
chain are you
If
getting?
you're,
is what
say
I'm
you're the
saying.
third drug dealer down, if you're not expanding your network, you're still not an entrepreneur.
What do you mean if you're not expanding your network? If you have, well, I mean, I think you have to always be expanding your network in the sense that you don't have one person that you're selling to. Even if you have 5, one of those folks would be. I mean,
No,
so
but people from the top have one person they selling to.
So then you're saying, but they,
I mean, it's a
so
pyramid
if they're
scheme.
if they're at the top and they're only selling to one, then they're not expanding into so like they're. You know what I mean, isn't it just a one person then?
When it gets to that
Well, I
money
think-
amount, it doesn't have to be.
Right, I think
Oh,
there's
so now we're changing the rules of entrepreneurship. You said it was
mean,
expanding it, but you cannot
Don't-
expand it with
Don't
one.
the
so
rule?
then-
Don't the rules always change?
as you get up.
I don't know that it's. I don't know if expansion is what makes an entrepreneur. It's got to be your business. I feel like a certain level
you're
of
not
drug
indebted to
dealing,
anyone.
you're an extension of this other
The
person's
system
business.
somewhere else. See, it's back to your system.
So it's not
Everybody
your
has a-
business. You're an extension of his business.
Everyone has a supplier. Even a farmer that
No,
grows corn
not
has a
not his
supplier.
supplier. You're an extension of his business. He set
Everyone's
the price
an
you get
extension of
from
someone
him
else's
helps to
business.
set your price. What you can get from him sets what you
That's
sell. You're not.
everybody.
You don't have a product. You don't have a product that you sell. You don't have a product that you produce.
just buy the cocaine farms.
There we go. All right, we do. Before you break the seal, we got to get. Got to let. Have
I
you
just
let you know
sat
where
back down
the
very
people-
obediently.
Let the people know where they can find you.
All right. So I do have a website. It's jdlawpa.com. That's the same for my Instagram handle and my Facebook, which I never update. I'm in 606 Liberty downtown. I have an office. You can always stop by.
See the
And-
trees and the lightsabers.
Yes. And my Barack Obama doll, and you could come hang out. And, like I said, I work with people. I do payment plans. I do flat fees. I do all sorts of shit because I believe people should not go to court without an attorney. So come check me out.
All right, Dave, let the people know where they can find us.
Hey, we are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play, and Spotify under Drinking Partners. And you can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod.
Hey, listen, we want to thank Jennifer Dickwist for coming through. JD Law in the building. Very, very candid conversation. But honestly, I think what I take away from it is, your lawyer, if you can connect with your lawyer personally, I think you all can put forth a better defense or a better, I don't know, because I guess you are a defense lawyer.
Yeah. I do
So yeah,
defense.
put forth a better defense because you gotta feel the people you have working for you. You should have some sort of common ground, some understanding. It just makes a better product. You know what I
And
mean?
lawyers are working for you. It's not the other way around. So, you
Lawyers
purchase
are
their
working
services.
for
So
you.
if you can't connect and you don't have that relationship, do you trust your employee there?
Yeah, and definitely look into JD Law. Not all of these hidden fees, extra fees after the retainer, all that bullshit, man. Like they straightforward. We straightforward.
All your toilet emails is free than a motherfucker,
Absolutely.
man. I mean, don't be getting caught up in these motherfuckers that's gonna be charging you for that for that bullshit, for that Mexican brick. You know what I mean? Some of the Mexican
All
brick
that shake
services.
at the end.
Yeah, I mean, all that shaker shit. I mean, these are straight nugs out here. Only getting charged for the nugs.
JD Law, no shake. With the partner sister crew, Epicast is the family,
hashtag.
and we out of here.
I did just get a medical card, so yes.
We only charging for the nugs.
You might find me, girl, coming back for more. And I know it's been a while, I've gotten old, but I'm still wild. I played the game, I didn't fold. You called my bluffs cause you're so bold, and then I left you, girl. Don't you know I left you, oh no. The stars I saw have come and gone. The planets brought me one and done's. Light years away, I clear my mind, and you might find me. You might find me, girl.